This is One on One. We are honored to be joined by Stephen Wolfe, the author of a Central Park love song, Wandering Beneath the Heaven Tree. He's also an English professor at Berkeley College, one of the institutions of higher learning we know very well. This book, powerful, and I thought I knew Central Park until I started reading it.
No.
Tell folks about the book.
Well, thanks. It covers my 42-year relationship with Central Park.
A relationship.
Yeah.
Describe it.
And as I discovered the park, so...
By the way, you can tell we're taping live because it's our relationship with
So
the heart of Manhattan and the
and that's
fire
part
truck
of the book,
yes.
too. There's a few places in the park where you don't hear the sirens.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, I arrived in 1976 to take part in the fall of civilization. New York was the capital of that, too, at the time.
That's right.
And I had a big dog. I lived on the Lower East Side. And I had a big dog who had to do more than walk around the block a couple times a day. So I got him to Central Park, and I fell in love with the park.
That's your dog?
Yeah, that's my dog. He was about 10 or 11 years old when we moved there. When we moved to the Lower East Side, East First Street. And it was too far to walk to the park. And I had no job or money or prospects. I came here with a dream in my heart and a dog. So I figured the best way to get him to Central Park was by subway, but the only way to get him to Central Park by subway is if he was a guide dog. So I pretended I was blind. And the story opens with our first night visit, late at night, in case something went wrong, where I put on glasses, open up this stick, put him on a leash, and we tap our way downstairs.
What do you love about this park?
You got to read the book, Steve. Many things.
Tell folks what they should love about the park. It's got so many. Sometimes I love the beauty of nature and the solitude, and there's hawks and coyotes and wild animals. But I also like the social scene of it. I mean, it's where musicians go to play. It's where unusual people go to sit by a lake and read a newspaper. And it's slow. It's not the rush of Times Square. It's not the lights. It's people taking their time. But it's evolved.
I'm sorry?
The park has evolved.
Oh, it's changed a great deal. We've lost much.
Lost.
Well, there was supposed to be no sports. It wasn't a place for recreation. It was a place for recreation. You went there after working 6 days, 12 hours a day, in tough conditions. You went to the park to be renewed, to be restored. You weren't supposed to play games. You weren't supposed to do basketball, baseball, none of that. You were supposed to ice skate was allowed because the water froze. But that was all. We were supposed to be restored by nature. Rich people could leave to do that. Poor people couldn't. And the park was built for those.
The park in New York City.
Yeah.
It is. I almost got. What would New York be without?
Oh, I know. Well, it was that way for a while. As the city was being built, the city was leveling everything, no park space. And it was then that people said, hey, we need something. So if there were smaller parks, and that was a suggestion, instead of one 800-acre park, build 8 100-acre parks. That would, well, thankfully, it went this way. Thankfully, it's one large park of 800 acres.
When you're teaching English over at Berkeley, by the way, I should make clear, Berkeley is one of the underwriters of what we do, and I've had the honor. I had a book signing party there as well. Great group of people there. Let me ask you this. When you're talking to your students at Berkeley about Central Park, most of them do not know much about the park. Fair to say or no?
Most New Yorkers don't know much about the park.
Most New Yorkers?
Or just a small piece of it. You know, they have a little area they go to regularly, and that's it. You know, they run the track, or they play tennis, or they go, but that's all. They don't know the variety and the expanse of the place. That takes a long time to find.
A big part of your life's mission is to help the rest of us appreciate this park in a way that we otherwise would not.
Yes, that was the main reason to write the book. That was one of them. One of the main reasons to write the book was for that reason. The other was to remember that that it's finally a very fragile environment.
Fragile.
Yeah, I mean, it's plants, it's earth, it's birds, it's like nature. It can be easily spoiled, and it's greatly intruded upon by the city, by civilization.
And a few seconds left. What do we need? What should we be doing to protect it?
Realize that. Leave it be. Don't cut into a tree and make your initials. Don't leave the trash out. Don't feed the animals junk food. Don't throw trash in the water. Realize that it's a sacred place.
Sacred.
Yeah. I mean, as nature was, as the men who designed the park believed nature was. You know, it was designed during the 1850s.
Olmsted?
Olmsted, among others. And nature is where we found God. We didn't find God in the city. We found God in what God made. And poor people couldn't go there, so they brought nature, God, to the city.
Let me tell you
That's the
something.
point of the park.
Sorry for interrupting. As we finish here, I'm going to tell you right now. I have a feeling people who go to Central Park are going to appreciate it a heck of a lot more because of you. Thank you so much.
Good.
We'll
Thank
keep
you.
talking off the air.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Thank you
my
very
friend.
much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the Northward Center, the law firm of Gibbons PC, Community Food Bank of New Jersey, Fedway Associates, and by Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and by Insider NJ. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.